I picked up a girl during a great famine, but 300 years later, during the great war of immortals and demons, Shui, now the demon venerable, pierced my heart with a single sword. She stood over me, treading upon my dying breath as if I were nothing more than a dead dog. Chen Huaiyan, when you framed and betrayed me back then, did you ever think this day would come? What she didn't know was that I chose to die by her hand. I had struck a deal with the system. I only needed to complete this final mission to return to Earth. 300 years ago, I stole the immortal sword, betrayed the sect, and ascended to the realm of Immortal Venerable. Meanwhile, she was thrown into the sect's deepest dungeon, living a life worse than death. Had it not been for my own doing, with my level of cultivation, how could I have failed to dodge a strike from someone I personally raised? Standing before me was the world's only demon venerable, Lo Lin Shang, my former junior sister. Feeling my life fading, I thought bitterly, was it truly worth it? She said nothing as she pulled the life-extinguishing sword from my chest. Blood splattered across her face. She kicked me to the ground and looked down at me. Her eyes, once as clear as spring water, were now covered in layers of frost. Yet, in the deepest depths of that ice, there was a tremor so faint it was almost imperceptible. Chen Huaiyan, do you have any last words? I gasped for air, my mouth filled with blood. The system's mission required me to die by her blade without saying a single word that might sway her heart. If I failed, I could never return to Earth. So, I chose silence. She knelt down, her slender fingers gripping my chin, forcing me to look into her eyes. Chen Huaiyan, I am asking you for the last time. Her face was full of killing intent, yet her voice trembled. She truly couldn't accept it. She wanted me to admit that the betrayal back then was a mistake. She wanted me to hear me say that during those years, I truly cared for her, that the warmth wasn't a lie, and pulling her from the abyss of death wasn't for some ulterior motive. I looked into her eyes, the corners of my mouth lifting into a smile that looked more painful than crying. The silence stretched. She waited a long time, until finally her expression turned completely cold. Fine, if you refuse to speak, then never speak again. I watched my blood on the tip of her sword, and time seemed to drift back to the past. It was a day of heavy snow. The blizzard swept across the mountains and rivers, freezing the lakes and claiming the lives of countless low-level cultivators and mortals. During that endless winter, frozen corpses lined the roads. In such a catastrophe, no one could protect themselves. Back then, I had only been in this world for 3 days. Following the system's guidance, I found a collapsing thatched hut by the roadside. The moment I pushed the door open, I saw her, a tiny figure huddled in the corner, wrapped in a tattered hemp cloth full of holes. She was so small that I could have scooped her up with one arm. Her body was covered in frostbite and sores. Her breath was so faint it was almost undetectable. When I knelt to take her into my arms, she was as light as a withered leaf. "Don't be afraid, I'm taking you with me." The girl didn't react, but the moment I lifted her, her hand instinctively grabbed the hem of my robe. She held on with a grip like a drowning person clutching a final piece of driftwood. Later, I learned her story. Her name was Lo Lin Shang. She was born without a mother, and her fellow villagers had driven her out. A 5-year-old in an inferior world, even more cruel than the cultivation world. She had fought wild dogs for food and slept in haystacks. I didn't know how she survived until the day I appeared. Perhaps heaven didn't want her to suffer anymore. To keep her alive, I went to the Boundless Heaven sect to work as an outer sect servant. I swept leaves, hauled spirit stones, cleaned cauldrons, and fed spirit beasts. I did everything. I worked 12 double hours a day. Except for sleeping, I was always working. The pay was pitifully low, barely enough to buy some grain and fabric. But Lo Lin Shang grew, from 5 to 10 to 15, becoming a beautiful and graceful young woman. Her talent was exceptional, far better than mine. I was eventually noticed by an elder, moving from servant to outer discipline, and 15 years later into the inner sect. She followed me into the sect and became my junior sister. Those were the most beautiful days of my 300 years in this world. Suddenly, my consciousness was pulled back to reality. The life-extinguishing sword descended, but at the final moment, it missed my vitals and pierced through my shoulder. Her eyes held a moment of emptiness before returning to cruelty. My body began to dissipate on this bloody battlefield, leaving behind only the screams of the righteous army being slaughtered by the demon host. Before my vision failed, the last thing I saw was her back, lonely, exactly as it was 300 years ago when she stood on the frozen peak waiting for me on a day and night. "I'm sorry." These two words could never be spoken. Time wound back to 300 years ago, our third year in the inner sect. My cultivation had reached the late golden core stage. Among disciplines of the same age, I was considered top tier, but Lo Lin Shang was even faster. She joined later, but her talent surpassed everyone. In just a few years, she was at the peak of the golden core stage, showing signs of breaking through to the nascent realm. The entire sect called her a once-in-a-century genius. I was secretly happy, though I maintained my dignity as her senior brother. In my heart, I was immensely proud. This was the little girl I had raised. During that time, she was assigned to guard the sect's treasure pavilion. It was a mark of the sect's trust in her. Ding! New mission issued. Steal the Boundless Heaven sect's treasure, the Void Absert Sword. The mission required me to collaborate with demonic forces to create chaos. The sword was a necessary item for my breakthrough. The reward, instant promotion to the peak of the nascent realm and a celestial-grade cultivation technique. The penalty for refusal, permanent inability to return to Earth. What kind of joke is this? I am an inner discipline of this sect. I am Lo Lin Shang's senior brother. You want me to be a traitor? System, I refuse. Refusal will permanently lock your transmigration status. You will never return to Earth. Reminder to host, your guardian on Earth, Qin Shui, has become mentally unstable due to your disappearance. She is currently posting missing person notices everywhere. An image flashed in my mind. My aunt stood on a street, her face haggard and tear-streaked, holding a stack of missing person flyers with my face on them. She pasted them one by one in the freezing wind, her hands red from the cold, crying as she worked. I froze. She was my only family. She was only 10 years older than me, but after my parents died in a car accident, she raised me single-handedly. She never married, never had her own children. She gave everything to me. She worked 2 jobs to put me through school, washed my clothes, cooked my meals, and stayed by my bed whenever I was sick. She wasn't my mother, but she did more than any mother could. And yet, I had transmigrated to this strange place. Decades had passed. Even if...
Despite 1,000 explanations, no one believed her. Everyone branded her a traitor. The sect imprisoned her, stripping her spirit and breaking her bones, subjecting her to every cruel punishment imaginable. In that dark, damp dungeon, her bones were shattered and she was poisoned. They even used forbidden soul-searching arts on her. Yet she still believed in her senior brother. During the nights she was tortured, she had longed so desperately to see the silhouette she once regarded as the light of her life. But until the very end, no one came to save her. And the culprit, I, was thousands of miles away, wielding the Void Ancestor Sword seized from the demons. After obtaining the sword, I turned on them and slaughtered every single demon. The system was very satisfied. In the 3rd year of Lo Lin Shuang's imprisonment, she vanished. She disappeared from the dungeon. The sect searched everywhere, but she was gone. No one knew where she went or if she was dead or alive. Not until 300 years later, when a female demon venerable appeared on the Lo Van continent, the first in history to reach the heavenly venerable realm. Her name was Lo Lin Shuang. She was ruthless and cold. Her first act after emerging was to annihilate the Boundless Heaven sect. Of the thousands within the sect, not a single soul survived. Then she came for me. By then, with the system's help, I had also reached the heavenly venerable realm. I had founded my own sect and become the sole leader of the righteous alliance. The two sides, immortal and demon, clashed. We faced each other on the battlefield, separated by tens of thousands of soldiers and a sea of blood feuds. After 300 years, she had grown. The little girl who used to chase me through green hills had become a being wreathed in demonic chi, a cold-faced demon venerable. Yet despite her killing intent, I still recognized those eyes. They were the same eyes that first looked at me when I picked her up in that blizzard. I realized I hadn't completely left this world yet. The final mission was complete, but because the host's soul needed time to stabilize, the system granted me 1 hour of freedom. 1 hour later, I would return to Earth. During this time, I existed as a wandering soul, an invisible bystander trapped in the final moments of this world. The war ended. The righteous alliance was utterly defeated. Half were slaughtered, the rest surrendered or fled. Lo Lin Shuang left the battlefield alone, riding the wind. She went to only one place, Frozen Peak. It was the old site of the Boundless Heaven sect. The once glorious sect was now a blood-soaked ruin in her wake. Amidst the rubble, flowers grew wild. The once bustling peak was now a place of deathly silence. She stood by the cliff, overlooking a 10,000-foot abyss shrouded in thick mist. Beside the cliff stood an ancient pine tree, its trunk as sturdy as a dragon, its needles a vibrant green. In this desolate place, it was the only living thing. This tree was the one she and I had planted together. It was her first year at the sect. Winter had just passed, and the snow was melting. She found a pine seed on the mountain and ran to me with sparkling eyes, saying, "Senior brother, let's plant a tree." I asked her why. She said, "Senior brother said the pine is the sturdiest. Snow cannot crush it, and lightning cannot strike it down. Lin Shuang wants to be strong like a pine tree." So we dug a hole on the edge of Frozen Peak. We buried the seed. She took the task of watering it very seriously. She even took a red string from her robe and tied it to a nearby rock, calling it a promise string. I asked her what she wished. She hid her hands behind her, her face flushing slightly, and refused to tell me. Then she whispered a sentence so low it was almost inaudible. "I wish senior brother will never leave Lin Shuang. When Lin Shuang grows up, I will definitely marry him." 300 years later, the seed is a giant tree. But of the two people who planted it, one had become a world-ending demon venerable, and the other a drifting soul. I watched Lo Lin Shuang stand before the tree. Slowly, she sat down. She sat at the base of the tree, hugging her knees. Large tears began to fall, splashing on her cheeks and the withered leaves on the ground. For 300 years, the demon venerable Lo Lin Shuang had never shed a single tear before the world. Not when the sect ripped out her spirit veins and crushed her bones in the dungeon. Not when she slaughtered the sect, or when she killed me. But now, facing this silent pine tree, she cried like a child. Just like that 5-year-old girl huddled in the thatched hut, she cried as if no one would ever come for her again. I stood behind her, reaching out to stroke her head, but my hand passed through her hair, touching nothing. "Qin Huaiyan, you liar!" My soul echoed behind her. "I'm sorry, Lin Shuang." She couldn't hear. No one could. I just wanted to hold her, to pull her into my arms like I did when she was small, and say over and over, "Senior brother is here. Don't be afraid." But I couldn't. My soul was fading. The hour passed quickly. I began to turn transparent. It was time to go. Before I vanished, I looked at her one last time. She was still huddled there, clutching her knees like a wounded little animal under the tree that held her most precious memories. Goodbye, Lin Shuang. My consciousness sank into eternal darkness. But Lo Lin Shuang's story did not end at the foot of that tree. In a place I didn't know, in a timeline I couldn't see, she cried for a long time on Frozen Peak. After she finished crying, she wiped her eyes and descended the mountain. She returned to the demon sect and summoned an elder, one of the ones who had rescued her from the dungeons centuries ago. Lo Lin Shuang had always believed she escaped because this elder took pity on her, but today she decided to ask for the truth, because a doubt had been gnawing at her heart. Why did Qin Huaiyan join the demons to steal the sword, only for her to be coincidentally saved by the same demons? It was too perfect to be a fluke. When the elder was brought before her, her expression changed. Lo Lin Shuang noticed. As a heavenly venerable, the sudden spike in the elder's heartbeat could not escape her. I ask you one thing. 300 years ago, who ordered me to save me from the dungeon? Reporting to the demon venerable, it was my own decision. I thought your talent was exceptional. Liar! The elder was slammed into the ground, trembling like a leaf. How could her lies deceive Lo Lin Shuang? She didn't give her another chance to speak. Her heavenly venerable consciousness crushed the elder's mental defenses and dove deep into her memories. Searching the soul, the elder's memories unfolded like a book. She saw everything. She saw a young man in white using his own soul blood and essence fire to form a forbidden control seam, forcibly overriding